So welcome back to Mini-Modelog. If you've not been here before, I do unboxings for mainly Blood Bowl. I also do Blood Bowl lore videos. Do go check out all my playlists for all that good stuff. But in this video, we're doing a Greebo Games unboxing. Just want to say a massive thank you to Alessio and the guys down there who sent this out to me as soon as they could. These are the metal versions of the Vicious Wildfire Orcs. I really am looking forward to seeing these because when this came out in March, I was like, take my money. They looked amazing, so I'm really pleased that they've arrived. And they've arrived, what, 6 months, so just over 6 months after the actual Kickstarter went live. And you can't go wrong with that. Kickstarter can sometimes take longer than that, depending on if it's their first one. Greebo have done quite a few Kickstarters. We obviously did the unboxing of the Cutamals, and if you want to check that out, the Necromals rather, that'll pop in the corner in just a minute. But this one is the Orc team. Now, I wanted the Orc team, or an Orc team, for quite a while, but I wasn't a big fan of the Games Workshop. When I'd seen them, I'd looked at them, they didn't float my boat, basically. So when it came down to it, I was like, right, when I saw these, I was like, I must have them. So I pledged for the basic team, which gives you the team and or stretch goals, which we'll take a look at right now. So let's get into the Vicious Wildfire Orcs. So I've got rid of the outside packaging, and it comes, by the look of it, in 2 separate boxes. If you're going to get scissors, make sure, if you're a child, make sure you've got parents to help you, or get safety scissors. I'm just going to cut down the centre of these boxes here. May take me a little while, so I may speed this bit up. So obviously there's 2 boxes in it. One is the team and one is the extra freebies. And I must admit straight away, I really like the artwork, and I like the fact it tells you to keep the sleeves, because I did see on the Kickstarter that inside the sleeves is 1/16 base markers where you can mark the bases, which is really cool. So in this box we've got the main team, and in this box we've got the extras. We'll start with the main team, and that just slides in theory out of there. I went for the metal variety, so these will be all in metal. And like I say, that's the cover, and you've got to keep it because it's got the numbers in. Hopefully you can see that there, 1/16. So let's get into the box. So straight off, this is the main team. So in here you get all your positionals and everything you need for an Orc team. One thing I noticed straight away is my troll is in resin, not metal. Now I went for the metal team. Now that made me think I would get the entire team in metal, including the troll, but obviously the troll must only come in resin, which I wasn't aware of. Be good to see the difference though between the resin cast and the metal ones, and see what the details like. Obviously I went for metal because that's what most of my teams are, or they're the plastic Games Workshop. I like metal, I prefer it to resin. Resin can be quite brittle at times, so there's my kind of opinion on metal versus resin. But you get all your bases in there. I think this is, I haven't checked exactly how many are in there, probably enough for this part of the team. But there's your troll. We'll take a look at the troll first. So he's the big guy of the team, and hopefully you can see the detail of the sculpt. I quite like how dynamic this guy is. I've got to do a little bit of cleanup because there's obviously 2 little stanchions there and there. But generally, I don't have to do much. That's about it. So there'll be a little bit of cutting and filing probably on those. But generally, he's looking great. And obviously, he'll stand on his foot and stand like that on the base. But that is the troll model, which is really cool. So if you're looking for a troll, I believe these will be up on the Greebo site soon to buy on their own, which is awesome. So we'll bob him back in his box, if I can close it. Yeah, that comes in a little blister, and that's probably how it would come if you bought it on its own. Now we'll move on to the team. I quite like how the plastic has the Greebo Games logo on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the screen. This is really quite heavy, so there's quite a lot of models in here. It's the full 16-man team. I'll just get rid of the box. So I obviously haven't even started putting any of these together, and most of them you've either got to add arms or heads, arms and heads. But there is one which comes as one whole model, which is one of the throwers. So we'll take a look at him first. Let's see if I can get that as close as I possibly can. Now, you've just seen the resin, and obviously the detail on the resin stands out a lot more than on the metal. But I still think there's a lot of detail, including the chainmail there. And his face is really well detailed from what I can see on there. And obviously he's one of my throwers. Now he's one of the only models that comes as a whole. I think some of the goblins come as a whole as well. But most of them you have to add either arms and heads or just arms. So an example of that would be this guy, who you have to add the arms onto. Again, the scale is really nice. They're a decent size. I quite like orcs to look big and bulky. I don't like them to look too thin. So I'll keep this one up to camera to try and keep it in focus, and we'll take a look at some of the others. There's another kind of main body. The only thing I'd say that's unfortunate is Greebo do not provide instructions of what body parts go with what. So you will need to look back at the pictures on the Kickstarter to work out what goes with what. But there's some really dynamic poses with walking and so forth. And even this thrower is quite dynamic, rather than having his arm back, which is what the Games Workshop throwers do. Let me see if I can find another one. Again, most of these need arms and legs. So I'll just get one of the arms and legs parts up. And again, these come on their own sprues. So there will be a bit of cleanup required, because obviously I'll need to chop off the arms, the legs. That's a goblin that comes in 2 parts there. But then again, here's another example where you've got 2 arms on 1 sprue. And obviously that's the orc arms there. So you'll need to work out which arms go with which model, which will take a bit of process. And of course you'll have to spend a bit of time cleaning up and cutting off the bottom tabs. I'd even be inclined with some of them to cut the tab off of some of the actual models as well, just because the tab has come out a bit bent. So an example of that is this guy, where the tab has actually come out a bit bent, and I doubt you'd be able to put that into a kind of slit in the base. But again, that guy has his head, you know, with that one that the head goes on there. The only thing I'd say to Greebo is probably maybe put in some instructions, just so you know whose body part is with which, because there are a lot of body parts in here, and it'd be easy to make a mistake and put the wrong ones on the wrong body. So that's the main bulk of the team. I'm not going to show you every model. I will at some point do a picture when I put them all together up on my Instagram, so do go check that out. But you've got all sorts. I mean, I think this is one of the main big guys, one of the main big Black Orc guys. And again, it's a case of he's massive and needs the arms putting on. So there's quite a lot of work to do for me once I get into these. But then, of course, you've got your goblins, which will be dead easy. Some of them come as whole models, like that guy. So you got some that are like that, and then some that you have to put together, basically. But it's a full 16-man team. So much to go out here. It's going to take me a while to get going, even just on the basic team stuff. So that's the team box. I'll be back in a second with the freebies. So the freebies box has the same artwork, just as a sticker with freebies on. And again, it tells you to keep it because it does have the numbers. So you do get actually 2 sets of numbers, which is pretty cool, because I'm not quite sure how, when I take that off, the glue off, whether or not some of the numbers are going to be all right. So you will get a full set of 16 numbers, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look at what freebies there are. I believe, yeah, the freebies are all in resin. I thought they might be, considering the troll was. So in here, there are all sorts, from a coach model, some cheerleading kind of support models, to reroll counters, prone counters, stun counters, basically anything that was in the to unlock. If you've pledged like I did, this is what you'll be getting. So in here you get the bases, obviously, for all of the models that are in this. You get a coach model, which comes in some parts. Again, it's in resin, so you can really see the detail on that. I've never had coach models, really. It's a nice little extra to have, but in a way I probably wouldn't necessarily take it to a tournament. It'd be something I'd keep for the team at home. So that comes in that bag there. You get several stunned and prone markers. Looks like a orc turn marker there, which is in the shape of an hourglass, which is really nice. And again, these are really, really, really detailed because they're resin. So if you went for the resin team, I think you're in for a lot of detail. Looks like a prone marker for the troll there. Looks exactly like the troll does, which is pretty cool. You've got your kind of cheerleading guys, which are, there's this one with a big foam finger and a, so these you could either use as cheerleaders or you could put them as crowd models. Something that if you're building your own stadium, you could really use, which is really cool. Again, whether they stand up on their own or whether you need to put them onto bases is questionable. You've also got stunned and prone markers for pretty much a lot of the team. So it looks like a blitzer prone marker and a stunned marker there. So you no longer have to lie your models down, you've got actual markers for them, which could come in real handy. And it's nice that they're 3D and not just flat kind of things. Obviously the stunned is lying down, but it's still a very much a 3D cast, which is cool. Again, there's quite a few models in here that I can't 100% identify. It looks like another troll-based marker there. So I'm going to have to go back on the Kickstarter and just identify everything that's here. And of course you get your team markers, which are really cool as well. Now, considering all of these will be extras if you bought the team, if you buy the team from Greebo at a later date, but if you're on the Kickstarter, I think you've got a bargain because you've got everything you could possibly need. All 16 players, big guy, coach models. There's so much here. And it looks like a prone or stunned marker for your troll as well. And they're all in really high detail. Hopefully you can see that all right there on the camera. You've got several different markers. Like I say, I'm going to have to probably take a look. There's so many prone and stun markers, and there's a goblin being sick. I really like that as well. But the sculpts are amazing, and I'm really pleased with the Kickstarter. It's my kind of second foray into Kickstarters, and I'm also supporting a Kickstarter right now, which is the Serial Killers. I'll pop a link down below for that. It's another team I'm working with. But that's pretty much everything. There's a couple more bits in here as well. There's a couple of balls by the look of it, and what looks like a guy on top of like some kind of goblin shaman model there. I'm looking forward to painting these as well, and look out for that on Instagram because I will post the team when it's done. Hopefully you enjoyed this unboxing. If you want to see another Greebo unboxing, check out the Necromorphs unboxing that I did, and I'll see you next time.